In a world where hopium and common sense collide, starring the CryptoKeeper and BlockchainCrusader. Welcome to Debate Crypto. Question everything, trust nothing. It's your boys, CryptoKeeper, BlockchainCrusader, here for another beautiful evening of Debate Crypto. Make sure you guys smash the likes. Let's have some fun tonight. Let's get wild in the chat. Let's be talkative if we can be. We've got a lot of good stuff going on. If you can't be talkative about the pump that we've got right now, I do not know what to tell you. Miguelito, ¿cómo estás?
Tiburón, tiburón. Chilling, bro. Chilling, waiting for Bitcoin to crash back down to 25.
Is that what you're thinking is going to happen?
That's what I'm waiting for.
What, to buy more?
Of course.
Of course.
I ain't gonna panic.
Well, listen, I'd like to, if we're going to go to 25, I say why not go to 15? And if we're going to 15, why not go to 11? If we're going to 11, why not go to 5?
There's limits. Everything in moderation. Everything in moderation. Okay.
So at 5, you're selling.
Oh, I'm not selling. I just don't want to go back to 5.
I mean, it would be a beautiful thing, actually, as an opportunity quickly. But what else are we going to talk about? We are going to talk a little bit about the pump. What else are we going to talk about, Miguel?
Talking about the pump, talking about the incoming dump, talking about the whole system situation going on with Ukraine, calling for exchanges to block out all Russian transactions.
Heck yeah.
They got Steven Seagal over there, filming movies right now. It's crazy what's happening over there right now.
Well, it's actually, I asked them to get wild in the chat, and I just want to throw out there, Michael is following. He knew the instructions here. He's listening naked with a tequila in his hand. Thank you, Michael. You are the premier listener this evening. We appreciate all of your support. So guys, make sure that you subscribe, make sure you smash the likes, and also, if you could, give us a follow on Twitter. We're really trying to grow over there. We like to have fun. We like to troll a few people, put out some good info as well. So we would love it if you guys would follow us over there. And if you guys are looking to get a little more personal with us, check us out on debatecrypto.academy. So without further ado, let me share my, actually, no. Miguel, why don't you show me this big fat green candles and what the market's looking like.
Let's see what the market is doing right now.
The market Viagra that has been popped.
That's pretty much what's happening, right? Look at this massive 15% in the 24 hours, right? Like, who would have thought that was going to be happening right now after this massive dump? Ethereum right behind it at 13% on the day. Right, Tether doing his thing at 0, competing with XRP. BNB here at 10, up 10%. XRP made a little small move of 9%. Terra Luna destroying it on the week, up 81% on the week, dude.
Nuts.
Massive. This has to do with the whole putting Bitcoin as its reserves, and it's been exploding.
Is that what it is with their UST, their stable coin?
Yes, it has to be, because ever since that piece of news came out, which was very underrated, wasn't really being reported anywhere, we've been seeing these massive moves, and it's only been about a week or so since that news came out, so it correlates with the time. Cardano up 14%, doing this thing, trying to make it back over $1. Solana 17%, Avalanche 15%. Everything is in green, double green digits, and barely anything is under double digits. So great day in the markets overall. But the question is, can we sustain? Can Bitcoin stay above 44,000, or are we getting rejected? We're having the famous TikToker, if you know who he is, you would know, a dead cat bounce.
We'll leave him unnamed, but check this out. I'm actually going to use a little something that you've been showing me, Miguel. I might need a little bit of help here since you know these a lot better, but ultimately we blasted right through this point of control here at about 40,372, blasted right through that earlier today. We were on the 4 hour, so this is about what, 12 hours ago. Boom, right through it. Then we came up through the second line of resistance, which was at about 41.1, blasted, took another market Viagra, and now we are approaching this resistance level 3. Guys, these are based off of Fibonacci's, and Miguel has been so gracious as to put these together for us. The RSI, way overbought. We're at like 90 right now, right? And that's obviously always going to be something that signals at some point we're ready for a turnaround. But hey, in 2017, we stayed for, I think, well over a month at over 90. So we can stay up there. It's just, that
that's
sentiment
just kind of
doesn't.
like indicating a
Right.
big blow off top, right? Once we stay up there for too long. And by the way, I just want to give a shout out to CVO. I did learn this from him. It's not like I just pulled this out of my Houdini hat.
Well,
So
I think
shout out to him.
Shout out to Magic, shout out to CVO. As always, if you guys want to see some more solid TA, check us out on Thursday nights for TA Thursday. What did you do with my market cipher, you devil? Did you put it away?
I put it away.
You did.
I needed to make room for some other indicators. I had these pivot points. I got regression lines. I got all kinds of stuff going on.
We got to get these folders separated back out. You killed my market cipher. I'm sad. So we're not going to check out market cipher tonight, guys. But I can tell you without even looking at it,
there's a green dot.
There's a green dot. There is a green dot, and there better be 2 green dots because it is absolutely run. So let's start off with something a little bit of fun here.
Well, actually, hold on. Let's go back a little bit here. We can actually pull up something from our academy.
What do you got?
From our academy, one of our people. Shout out to him. He's been posting some stuff from Market Cipher. And
shout out to Juggernaut.
Yeah, he made a really good post today. So I'm actually gonna share that.
Share it.
Let me just share my screen. So here it is. Basically, double green dot, right? 2 green dots indicate strong movement up. Remember that we are in a downtrend still. See the downtrend over here with the momentum waves. So this is still a downtrend. With the RSI is overbought at this zone right here. It made great diagram pointing things out. Pullback needs to start closing higher lows and higher highs to break a downtrend. And obviously, this is the wick. This was when Bitcoin was still at 40,000. We are up at like 42, 43 right now. So the RSI is obviously way more oversold. This was from earlier today. But shout out to Juggernaut of crypto. He was the winner of Market Cipher giveaway, and he's been putting it to good use in our academy.
Heck yeah, dude. Congrats. Chat, make sure you guys smash the likes. If you're not subscribed, do your thing. Let's get into it. Let's start off with a little bit of a fun one here tonight. Again, as we talked about, we're going to talk about Coinbase, some of the other exchanges. We're going to talk about the pump. We're going to talk about, and we're going to start with this one, the Bitfinex deal. Right? You guys know the rapping woman and her husband, supposed hackers. So accused Bitfinex launderer Heather Morgan might be offered a plea deal. Here she is, too cool for school. That's a heck of an outfit right there, Miguel. I know you're turned on when you look at that picture because it's that's.
Sorry, I wasn't paying
attention.
Right?
What'd you say?
I wasn't paying attention. What'd you say?
Oh, never mind. I just said I know that picture right there turns you on because it's got to be your style right there.
Let's keep it family friendly.
One of the alleged Bitfinex launderers might soon be offered a plea deal that could see her avoid the spectacle of a public trial. During her virtual arraignment on Monday afternoon, prosecutors told Magistrate Judge Robin Meriwether of the U.S. District Court for the District of Columbia that they were in talks with Heather Morgan's attorney about a possible, quote, resolution to her case that did not include a trial. Morgan, along with her husband, I have no idea how to say his name, but they call him Dutch, has been accused of laundering the proceeds of the 2016 Bitfinex hack. The sum is valued at approximately $5 billion. Though prosecutors have accused both Morgan and Liechtenstein of being involved in the conspiracy to launder funds, there appears to be less direct evidence connecting Morgan to the crime. The private keys containing that wallet had $3.6 billion of the stolen funds, which was seized by federal agents earlier this month, were found on Liechtenstein's cloud account. It kind of goes further into basically what you guys already know had happened, but I thought this was interesting. Liechtenstein was denied bail, and so the husband remains in jail and was denied bail. Morgan was allowed to post a $3 million bond. Looks like she used the value of mommy and daddy's Northern California home and is under house arrest at the couple's apartment. She also has COVID-19 apparently. So I don't know, man. This whole thing, it's a fun, it's a very weird, it's just a weird story. Like the whole thing doesn't truly line up, make sense. And now they're talking about a deal with somebody who ultimately, if they really did do this, laundered like 5 billion with a B dollars. It just it gives me, I think, and I'd love to hear your thoughts, Miguel. I think that this for me is one more kind of signature pointing to the fact that they know something that we don't right now, and they were not as involved in this as the original news kind of made things out to be. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't believe that these were the geniuses behind it. Either if they were, it shows that any dummy can be one of the greatest hackers out there and steal a bunch of money, meaning security isn't that tight. And it's pretty easy to hack stuff, so beware. Or they're scapegoats, and they've been set up to get caught, and then at the same time put the narrative back on about money laundering in crypto, the evil cyber criminals, right? And just give more negative attention to cryptocurrencies in general, and
Yeah.
kind of try to scare people away from the market. Uh, but outside of that, I honestly think that if they stole that 5 years ago or whatever it was, however many years ago, you're gonna tell me that after all these years, this was the best plan they came up with to be able to wash the money and take it out and cash it out. This was the best plan. They had
Yeah.
5 years, and they said, "This is what we're gonna do." And the minute they moved, the FBI and all these people were on top of them. The minute they
Yeah.
moved, this was their best plan. I
Yeah.
just can't believe that. I think there's way more to that story than we're gonna know.
Yeah.
But by the way, Nick, do you still have that special hardware wallet for your favorite Shiba
I
Inu
do.
and other coins? Can you
I
pull
do.
it out real quick?
Yeah, sure. Hold on a second. Was somebody talking about Shiba in the
Somebody was talking about something similar.
oh, here we go. Here it is, right
Yeah.
here.
So Adam, when you buy XRP, that's where you put it. That right there. That's the special
You
hardware
baited
wallet
me
you
into
move
that
into.
one. You baited me into that one. This is not the special hardware wallet for XRP, but it is the Shiba
He only
hardware
says that
wallet.
because he the XRP
Holds a few of them.
chiller.
Hey, I do want to throw something out there. Phil the Flying Frenchman. First of all, before I pull this tweet or this comment up, Phil the Flying Frenchman. I like have this picture of a French guy with a little mustache flying through the air with a cape on his back. So at any rate, Phil, if that's you, brother, I'm glad I called that correct. But Phil says you should only have what you want to trade on an exchange. Nothing is safe on exchanges. Transfer your keys onto a cold wallet. Miguel and I are huge proponents of cold
100%.
wallets. Okay, so I agree with what you're saying here, and actually, this next article is a huge reason why I really love what you just said. And things are getting wild out here, folks. So just pay attention. There's more going on here than meets the eye. Coinbase declines, thank God, Ukraine request to block Russian crypto users. Okay. The Ukraine Minister of Digital Transformation requested that major crypto exchanges block Russian users. Exchanges have thus far declined to do so. Instead, Coinbase and others are pointing toward their compliance with international sanctions. Coinbase will, quote, will not institute a blanket ban on all Coinbase transactions involving Russian addresses, despite a request from a Ukrainian government official to do so. A spokesperson for the popular US-based exchange told Decrypt a unilateral and total ban would punish ordinary Russian citizens who are enduring historic currency destabilization as a result of their government's aggression against a democratic neighbor. Miguel, I need to tell you something on this, okay? We were talking on Around the Blockchain before the show, and I did not know this, and I'll be interested to hear. You probably didn't know this either. The ruble, which is the Russian currency, they currently are offering the banking system in Russia is offering stick with me 20% on money in a savings account, checking account, whatever. If you don't think that currency
Oh,
is
their currency
heading
is
into the
crashed by like
ground.
45%.
Yes, so they are literally offering, they are willing to do they will give you whatever you want to hold your rubles in their accounts right now. If a bank is ever, listen, a little economics lesson here for everybody on here. If a bank, a centralized entity, a bank is offering you some crazy number, I mean, think about it. In the United States, your average savings account, I think, is 0.1%. And you've got a bank, or all of the banks right now, essentially in Russia, that are offering 20, not 0.2, not double the amount, right? Not 2%, not 20 times the amount. No. We're talking like 200 times the amount that a normal it's just absolutely insane. They are getting crushed. And I do think, Miguel, that like the idea that they wanted to unilaterally just say, hey, every single Russian, cut them off. Think about it. If this was flipped and the United States was attacking somewhere and these other countries said, you know what, cut off the entire United States from sending and receiving crypto transactions, make sure they can't use their wallets, whatever. Folks, I got news for you. There's a lot of people that actually operate and live off of those, right? There are people that live off of their crypto.com accounts that take profits via swiping their card at the store and maybe are buying groceries ultimately with crypto. This is not what crypto was made for. I have a real problem with them even asking that this be done. What are you feeling about this,
Well,
Miguel?
I feel, first of all, I am glad that they didn't do it. But let's take a step back. They didn't do it out of the kindness of their heart because they're such believers in decentralization and empowering the people. They did it for money. They know the situation happening in Russia. There's a gold mine happening right now with Ukraine and people trying to get, as much Bitcoin, and their currency is crashing. So people are probably jumping onto, Bitcoin and using Coinbase over there. So they're making a bunch of money off the fees.
I agree.
That's the only reason why. If the United States came out and said, hey, block the Russians right now, Coinbase would be like, already done. Don't worry about it. It's not because they're such heroes. Trust me, it's not that at all. If they don't give me the little head bobble, because the minute the United States says you do what I say or you don't operate here, Coinbase will say whatever you say, just so I can keep making more money. And they will block Russia. They will block anybody because they got to play with how the elites want it to be played.
Debate crypto here. I'm calling a devil's advocate here, because ultimately I got to tell you, I'm going to argue the bad side of this. You're going to tell me all the good that can come from that, because I'm going to start it off with this. If a centralized entity like Coinbase, for those of you that are new, when devil's advocate is called, you basically are forcing the other person to take a position and stay in that position. This is debate crypto, right? So I am forcing Miguel to tell me all of the great things that can happen from canceling someone via, what we're talking about. So, okay. So here's the thing. You have this company that says, okay, Mr. Government, we'll do that for you, right? And they absolutely essentially cancel every single citizen of a different country. If you don't think that that's going to have a reverberation around the entire world and is going to hurt their currency more than the short-term splendor of having a bunch of people rushing for basically, freedom from their current, from their local ruble or their local dollar or whatever the case may be, I think you're sorely mistaken. I think that it sets up a precedent that says, hey, listen, we are and might as well be the government, and we listen to anything and everything that they say, and your money is not safe. And so ultimately, I think that would reverberate around the world, and that would be terrible. You can't, I don't know how you could look at that and think that they really would do that.
I didn't understand your argument at all.
I'm trying to say that it would have much more of a negative impact because
if Coinbase blocked out the Russians,
absolutely, well,
because the U.S. government told them to,
for sure, because ultimately
it will have a negative effect for who?
For Coinbase, they're ultimately
Why would
going
have a negative effect for Coinbase?
Yes, they're going to have.
If the ultimatum is you either comply with us or you do not operate in the United States, they're going to comply with the United States because they'd rather operate here than in Russia, or any other part of the world.
Well, ultimately, if the government is giving a company like that an ultimatum, we've got a lot bigger problem on our hands. What I'm trying to say is, if they just say, "Hey, listen, shut it down, put it away, don't let it happen, whatever. I think that they're going to see more of a negative backlash financially, because what you talked about was financials. They'll see more of a negative backlash financially because the rest
Coinbase
of the world
will have a
yeah.
negative. Of
Yeah,
course not. Of course
the rest of the world's going to say, "Hey, my money isn't safe there," because they'll just change at the whim
it's not
of
safe.
whatever Joe Biden says. They just do it.
It's not safe.
I
That's first
agree.
of all.
That's why we hold on.
So
That's why we hold on cold wallets. We agree on that.
exactly right. It's
Yeah.
not safe,
Okay.
and they will comply. They
Okay.
will, right? Any law can be passed at any moment, forcing exchanges in any centralized entity to comply, right? Just how when we had the fog around the world, and we have laws in place that the government can come to your factory and say, "Hey, we're halting this production and we're doing this." I forget what the name of the law is. It's a fancy name or whatever it is, and they can force you to produce something for the economy. The
Mhm.
same can happen with crypto. Might not be in place right now, but the same thing will happen. And as we have more crypto situations growing around the world, depending how this whole situation happens, whether Russia tries to escape sanctions by jumping into Bitcoin or not, the government, the United States government, will prepare itself for the next moment to make sure that it has leverage and people can't just run away. And through these centralized exchanges, that's the bottleneck, is the centralized exchanges. That's the fiat on ramp and off ramp, right? And that's where everybody mostly is at, because that's the most trusted entities, the easiest ones to use, versus decentralized exchanges are more difficult. They
So we
understand that
should
that's
just
the bottleneck, and they will attack that bottleneck.
You're right. So I agree with you that it would be possible to do that. I'm not saying that it wouldn't be possible to do that, but what I will say is, if that's the case, then Coinbase should just pack it up now, because they do not stand for anything other than
They
making a
don't.
buck. Period. End of discussion.
That's
They don't care about crypto. They don't care about decentralization. They don't care about
If
anything
they
other
cared
than a
about
dollar.
decentralization, there
They wouldn't
wouldn't
be a
be a centralized
centralized
entity.
entity. I knew that's what you were about to say.
Okay.
But what I'm
It's just
trying to
simple, right? It's business. They're in it for the business. They're selling you the picks and shovels for the gold rush,
listen,
right? They're making money no matter what.
let me get a third party opinion. Hold on a second. Hey baby, look really happy if you think daddy is right, and look really upset if you think Miguel is right. What do you think, huh? Well, why do you look so happy? Is it because you think daddy is right? Yeah, you
No, it's because
do,
she's seeing
don't
me and she's like,
you?
"Oh my god, who's that
She said,
handsome
"Who's
man
the
on the
scary
screen?"
man on the screen?" Mwah, I love you. Ugh. Yeah. So, ultimately, I guess what I'm getting at is, um, we've got a lot bigger problems if that type of stuff starts happening.
It's
If
always
they
it's
complying, because
it's only a matter of time.
the moment they start complying, it's over,
But
right?
how do you expect them not to comply? What would you really expect centralized exchanges that do KYC, that control you and allow bank transactions to occur onto their exchange,
I expect an
states the
email.
government?
I expect an email like the Numchuck email. You remember,
No, because they
remember
can't. They
reading that?
literally can't. By legal purposes, the fact that they have all this information and control over people, they have to oblige. It's not like Nunchuck that says, "Hey, we don't have the keys. We don't know. We don't have any control over anything. We're not custodial, right? People hold their own keys."
Right.
It's not the same situation, so they can't do that.
I mean, they could still send the same email and just tell them to shove off, and we'll be here for you when the whole economy collapses. But in the
Okay.
meantime, we're not
Yeah,
shutting down people's stuff. Yeah, no, I agree with you.
it won't happen.
I agree with you as it relates to, if they had like said, "Hey, we're going to shut you down no matter what. You're either going to do it or we're going to shut you down."
It's not even about shutting down. It's just they can get hit with massive fees, right? They can get hit with massive
Man, I just
penalties,
think that
whatever laws they write into place, because
okay.
the U.S. government is going to want to keep some leverage over other governments using
I just think it shows
using products that
worldwide.
are here in American, right? That they're
Okay.
American products.
We'll move on from there. I will concede that it could happen. It could happen, but we're in trouble if it does
It's
happen.
coming.
So it's coming. That's scary, right? Hey, drop a 1 in the chat if you think that it is anything. No, let me make this really simple. Drop a 1 in the chat if it's flat out scary that our government, or that Miguel,
Who do you guys agree
Mister.
with? Who do you guys agree with? You agree with me? You agree with Nick? Drop a 1 for me. Drop a 2 for Nick.
But
Do
you,
you
but
think this is
but
possible or not?
you twisted what what I was ultimately saying was that it would hurt them more financially to shut down a country via the government saying do it, because it tells the rest of the world that they can't be trusted. That's what I was saying.
But the rest of the world will
Could they
still
shut
use
it
them.
down? Sure, why not? You know what I mean? It is a centralized entity. You're for
But the
sure.
rest of the world will definitely still use them. They
Man,
will. People are lazy. Coinbase is easy. Is just tap button here, tap button there, beam bam boom. They
yeah,
keep my money safe. I can call them if I need to. They won't
yeah.
answer anyways, but whatever. But it's the false sense of security.
Well, as of right now, they have said no, right? And I actually check this out. So it says unilateral total ban will punish ordinary Russian citizens who are enduring historic, just like I was saying, the government's aggression against a democratic neighbor. Here's the interesting part. Ukraine has raked in $20 million in Bitcoin donations earmarked
That
for
number is
military
actually
support.
outdated.
Oh, is it higher than that?
It's 37 million.
Okay. But it's aware that its enemy can just as easily use cryptocurrency to get around sanctions or relieve economic pressures on its people. Here's what I'm think is crazy, right? So over the weekend, Ukraine's country vice prime minister and minister of digital transformation, Mikhailo Fedorov, publicly appealed to all major crypto exchanges to block the addresses of the Russian users. Check out what he tweeted. It's crucial to freeze not only the addresses linked to Russian and Belarusian politicians, but also to sabotage ordinary users. Miguel. Ooh,
It's coming, bro. I'm
ooh,
telling you.
ooh,
The
ooh,
government will weaponize
ooh.
centralized exchanges against people.
Yeah,
One way or another, against the people, against other governments. This we're on uncharted waters right now, right?
yeah.
Things are still have ways to escape, but it will not be like that forever. The regulations will come and will be put in place to make sure in the future any centralized entity will have to comply to the benefit of a certain government or governments or whatever it is, depending on the situation that's happening.
So
Trust
what's
me.
the answer?
Decentralization. Pay those extra fees, get off centralized exchanges, and have control over your money. Take custody and take responsibility for what you do, and do not depend on a false sense of security from these centralized exchanges that make everything easy as butter for you. But
So
in return, they're stealing your soul.
So I have an interesting thought, and I think this is why I think the government will fight us very tooth and nail on moving full on crypto, right? So think about this. I'm going to throw out an idea here. So let's say that let's say the entire world now recognizes crypto. Let's just say crypto as a whole as currency, okay? And everyone accepts it. The reality is you don't any longer need the fiat on ramps and off ramps. You don't need them at that point, right? So the money's in circulation. So I go to Miguel and I say, hey, I want to buy this from you. And you say, okay, well, I'll take this many XRP because I know that's what you actually really want. So you take the XRP from me, right? And or whatever the asset is, and ultimately we don't need the off ramp because now hey, I can take this and I can spend this elsewhere. And so I think the reason that the government wants to have so much try to pin down some of this is because legitimately, if everyone accepted it, guess what? I could start taking hardware. We could literally live in a peer-to-peer payment rails world where
Yeah, but we're
literally
far away
everyone
from that.
boom boom. I agree. I totally agree.
I
But
mean,
I
people
but I
would have to be
believe that's
getting
why they're
their
pushing
salaries
back so hard.
paid in crypto.
Agreed. Agreed.
A huge percentage, right? Because the dollar might be dying, and I say it all the time, and it could be on its last legs, right? But it's still going to exist. It's a walking zombie, right? It gets reanimated. That's the Federal Reserve. That's the virus, right? It reanimates the dollar and it keeps it like a puppet just roaming around. So the dollar is never going to disappear. Neither is fiat currencies, whether they become CBDCs or not. They're still going to be fiat, right?
You
There's
don't
going to
think the
be
dollar's going to zero?
it's practically already there, and it's
Okay.
still hobbling around. It's gonna get close to zero, right? Like that 0.000000001, right?
But
And
they're going to show
it's
that
still
still
there.
as a dollar. They're going to show that still as a
Oh yeah,
dollar.
yeah, of
We're going to
course.
look back. We're going to look back, and it's going to be like, "Hey, did you grab me some Wendy's today?" And you're like, "Yeah, I got you some trash food." And you're like, "Well, make sure you pay me back." And it was like $68 for a freaking combo meal.
Yeah, exactly, right. They're gonna keep it hobbling around, but so crypto is gonna take a very long time for people to fully transition over where they're not using fiat ever and they're never transferring fiat back into crypto, right? There's
Yeah.
always gonna be the fiat shillers that are all about, you know, whatever the old traditional system is. But trust me, we're very far away from that future. Very, very far away. They're not even worried about that right now.
Well, I look forward to it. I look forward to the idea that, you know, Miguel, yesterday we were talking about the value of some ETH as it related to NFT, a couple NFT transactions, and your response was, well, I mean, I just look at it for what the ETH is worth. I know the price is going to go back up, this, that, and the third. I look forward to the day when literally my mind isn't trying to make a calculation to go from ETH to fiat, right? Because right now, when I see the Bitcoin price, for example, right? I'm looking at a fiat number. When I see the ETH price, I'm looking at a fiat number. Well, this fiat is headed to zero. Those numbers are very slowly eroding away, and they don't really mean nearly what they did a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And it kind of sneaks up on you. And I'm hoping that we get this figured out sooner than later, one way or the other.
And we already know more inflation is coming. They just said it the other day, right? We had an episode about it.
Absolutely.
The fake number of 7.5% is way higher than that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Used cars are up like 20% alone.
It's like 40. Yeah, it's
like,
ridiculous.
You know, it's ridiculous. Houses, gas, everything's going up and up way more than just 7%.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna get even a bigger wave. By the time Bitcoin hits $1 million, right? If it doesn't happen before 2030, if it happens at 2030, $1 million is gonna be worth practically nothing compared to today's $1 million, right? And that's what we're talking about here. It's gonna go practically to zero, but never to zero, because the Federal Reserve is always gonna keep it going.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's ridiculous, man.
So check this out. Sean, big supporter of the channel. First of all, Sean, we appreciate all you do, brother. You're always sharing out our stuff and talking to us about us, all that good stuff. Looking forward to rapping with you. But he said this is another reason this is another reason it's way past time for we, the crypto community, to actively organize politically to get the best people in office to prevent the weaponization of central exchanges. I don't think he could have said that better. That is what's happening with what you're talking about, Miguel. They are weaponizing our currency. They are weaponizing and ultimately, let's be real.
That's what central banks are.
Central banks
I
was
are
about
weapons.
to say that's
what
exactly
they've always
what,
been.
Yes. If you can shut down and you can bottleneck, as you were talking about, bottleneck the ability for them to be able to transact back and forth, which is what they're trying to do with some of the SWIFT system sanctions that they're putting in play right now. They're weaponizing banking. And I'm with you, Sean. We do need to get people in office that ultimately truly understand crypto, that can take that next step forward. So, Crypto fam, listen, we appreciate each and every one of you guys. If nobody's told you before today, we love you. We appreciate all you guys do. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. Check us out if you guys are looking to get a little bit more personally involved. We got debatecrypto.academy. We do our private seminars every Sunday. We're teaching a lot over there. We'd love to have you over there. We just appreciate you guys. Make sure you subscribe. So, question everything.